Hello everyone and welcome to Ryan Explains. My name is Ryan and today we are going to talk about 5 of the sleepiest animals on planet Earth. So before we start this discussion, I want to start with a quick disclaimer. Humans have been on planet Earth for a long time, and in that time we have been many things. We've been explorers and conquerors and kings. But above all else, we have always been learners. We've always hoped to learn about the behavior of the skies and the seas, and of course, the animals around us. Now, when it comes to learning about animals, though, humans have to be rather careful. You see, animals can behave very differently when they're in their natural and ordinary environment versus when they're in our own captivity, or even when their environment's just disrupted by human interference. And shortly we'll see an example of how human interaction can drastically affect an animal's behavior. So before we get into my list of the top 5 sleepiest animals on the planet, I want you to head down to that comment section and leave a comment on what you think should be on the list. Alright, so let's start off my list at number 1, which is koala bears. Koala bears aren't actually bears at all, instead they're marsupials, which means that they carry their young in a pouch in their abdomen. These little marsupial friends of ours are native to Australia and can sleep for an extreme amount of time. Typically they sleep for about 14 to 15 hours and rest for another 5 on top of that. Now that might seem like a lot, but actually some koala bears even rest for up to 20 to 22 hours in the day, leaving very little time for any other activities. So why then do koala bears sleep for so long in the day? And the answer to this mostly comes down to their diet. Their diet almost exclusively consists of eucalyptus leaves. Koala bears eat up to a pound of these per day, and to be honest, they don't provide much nutrients or energy, and they cost quite a bit to digest. Koalas will even store some eucalyptus leaves in their cheeks so that when they wake up from their naps, they won't have to go far for their next meal. But that's enough about koalas. Let's move on to number 2 on our list, which is the sloth. Sloths are notorious for their reputation of being sleepy and lazy, and this comes down to mostly because in captivity, where we usually see sloths, they sleep for up to 20 hours and move very slowly even when they're awake. Now in the wild, where it's actually harder for them to obtain their food and they have to be cautious of predators, sloths actually sleep for only about 10 hours in a day. Now their slow movement is true in the wild as well, and this is actually a mechanism to conserve energy. Now in the wild, sloths will actually use this conserved energy to escape from predators when they're in danger. Sloths will use this energy all at once to sprint away. They can even move as quickly as a large cat. So while their sleeping habits and movement style in captivity surely make them out to be a lazy and sleepy animal, in the wild they actually behave quite a bit differently, and this is a great example of when we should be cautious of human interaction. So next on our list at number 3, we've got the North American opossum. Now opossums are actually also marsupials, and they're the only marsupial that's found north of Mexico. Now opossums actually have large litters all at once, and their babies are born premature, and this actually causes them to, out of that large litter, only have 1 or 2 surviving offspring into adulthood. Now, once they reach adulthood, their chances of surviving further is actually exponentially better because they're actually very skilled at the art of playing dead when approached by predators. Adult opossums actually live a pretty nomadic and solitary lifestyle, meaning that an individual's sleep habit doesn't have to depend on the group that they're in. This is good because opossums actually need to sleep for up to 18 hours in a day so that they can fully develop their bodies since they're born prematurely. Now, there is, of course, the myth that opossums sleep hanging from their tails, and this is actually just not true. They do use their tail as a 5th appendage in some case, and even hang from it at times, but they can only hold themselves up from it for very brief amounts of times. They certainly don't sleep like this. And the next one on our list at number 4, we've got armadillos. Armadillo in Spanish means little armored one, and there's 21 full species of these. And on average, of all these 21 species, armadillos will rest for about 16 hours in the day. Now this resting is categorized as time that they spend underground in their burrows, but most of that is expected to be sleeping, though it's very hard to tell without actually interfering with their environment. Much like opossums, armadillos are actually very solitary species. They usually only meet up socially when they want to mate or when they need to cuddle together for warmth because of their naturally very low body temperatures. Now, two individual species of armadillo actually stick out exceptionally well for me. One is the hairy armadillo. These rest underground in those burrows for about 20 hours in the day. And number two is the nine-banded armadillo. These ones rest for about 18 and a half hours in the day underground. Now, moving on to the fifth and final animal on our list is actually you, and me, and everyone else on the planet Earth, but many, many years ago for most of them. You see, human infants actually need a lot of sleep. In fact, in order to help their bodies develop and get used to the world outside of the womb, much like opossums who do this for their entire life, infants will sleep for up to 14 to 18 hours in total in the day within the first 6 months of birth. Now, human infants actually follow what's called a polyphasic sleep cycle, meaning that they don't sleep all at once for those 18 hours. Instead, they take several naps during the day. Actually, about 8 hours of the 14 to 18 hours is usually spent during nap time. Now, part of this is because the infant's stomach is so small, they have to wake up periodically for more food so that their body can continue on while they're sleeping. That's right, you were one of the sleepiest animals on the planet not too long ago. So that's all for my list of 5 of the sleepiest animals on planet Earth. Revisit that comment of yours from earlier and see if it matched up with my list. If it didn't, let me know why I'm wrong in the comment section down below. Otherwise, if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a thumbs up and share this video with your friends if you think they'd like it. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great day. If you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and subscribe. Now, adult opossums actually have a nomadic and solitary lifestyle,